Hey everyone, Terry Jakimiak here, co-founder of Roll for Perception. So, you want to play a censor and draw steel? Excellent choice. Picture this. You walk into a room, point at the biggest, baddest enemy there is and say, "You are judged." And from that moment on, every action they take, every move they make, they're taking damage from divine wrath. And that's just the beginning. The Censor is Draw Steel's Holy Enforcer class. Part tank, part controller, part healer. Your Judge Dredd meets Divine Inquisitor, passing sentence on heretics and backing it up with holy power. Over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how this class works, the 3 different ways you can build one, and most importantly, how to actually play it at the table without getting confused by the mechanics. And hey, if you want more Draw Steel content, we're doing every class in the system, hit that subscribe button. Now, let's get into it. All right, let's talk about the 3 things you absolutely need to understand before anything else makes sense. First up, wrath. This is your fuel, your heroic resource. And here's how it works. When combat starts, look at how many victories your party has. Victories are like, think of them as boss fights you've won since you last rested. And when I say rested, understand I mean respite instead of just taking a nap. We'll get into that in another video. If you've beaten 3 encounters, you start this fight with 3 wrath. It's simple. Then, every turn on your turn, you gain 2 wrath just automatically. Write it down, track it. You're getting 2 wrath every single turn. But here's where it gets spicy. Remember that enemy I said you're going to judge? When you hit them, you gain 1 wrath, but only once per round. And when they hit you, you gain 1 wrath. But again, only once per round. So do the math with me. You start your turn, gain 2 wrath. You hit the judged enemy, that's 1 more. They hit you back on their turn, that's 1 more. That's 4 wrath per round when things are really cooking. You're going to have plenty of fuel to work with. Now, outside of combat, you can still use your wrath abilities, but you don't actually have to spend wrath. Think of it like this. You can heal your buddy after the fight, but then you can't do that same heal again until you win another fight or take a respite. Makes sense, right? All right, cool. This is the ability that defines the Censor. Everything else you do builds around judgment. It's a ranged ability, 10 squares, which in this game is pretty far. If you're used to D&D or Pathfinder, you're looking at 50 feet. You point at one enemy and mark them as judged by you. You can only have 1 judged target at a time. And if you judge someone new, the old judgment ends. Now, here's the beautiful part. While someone is judged, every time they use the main action, that's their big attack, their spell, whatever you want to call it, as long as you can see them, you deal damage to them. Automatically, for free. How much damage? Take your presence score and double it. So at level 1 with 2 presence, that's 4 damage. By level 10 with presence 5, that's 10 damage. Every single time they act. Now, it doesn't sound like much until you realize that enemy is acting multiple times and this damage just keeps stacking up. That's 20, that's 30, that's 40 damage over a fight just from this one ability. But wait, there's more. You can also spend 1 wrath to enhance your judgment in 4 different ways. Stop them from shifting away and smack them. Make their attacks less accurate. Reduce the power of their abilities. Or, if you hit them in melee, make them obsessed with attacking you instead of, say, the conduit. You pick one of these when the situation calls for it. And one more thing. When your judged target drops to 0, you can immediately slap judgment on someone else for free. You're just cycling through enemies, marking them for divine retribution. My life for yours. This is your healing. This is your 3rd core ability, And this is how you keep your party alive. It's pretty straightforward. Range of 10, so again, pretty far. When an ally is hurt, you spend one of your recoveries to heal them. Now, what's a recovery? Think of it like a healing potion you carry with you. You have 12 of them. When you spend a recovery, you heal for your recovery value. That's basically your stamina divided by 3. At level 1, that's probably healing somewhere around 7 to 8 hit points. If you spend Wrath, when you do this, you can also cure one bad condition on them or help them stand up if they're knocked down. You're not a dedicated healer like a conduit, but you can absolutely keep people alive in a pinch. And honestly, that's one of those things that makes Censors so good. You're hard to kill, you hit decently hard, and you can heal. You're doing a little bit of everything. All right, you're sold. You want to make a Censor. Let's build one together real quick. You start with Might 2 and Presence 2. Those are locked in. Then you've got 3 more points to spread around using one of 3 patterns. Most Censors, you want Might for hitting things and Presence for your judgment abilities, so probably dump Agility or Reason unless you've got specific character concept in mind. You've got 21 hit points, or stamina as the game calls it, and you gain 9 more every level. So you're pretty tough. Now we've got the 3 big choices. Choice 1, your order. This is your subclass. Are you an Exorcist who hunts monsters, an Oracle who sees the future, or a Paragon who leads by example? We'll deep dive into these in a few minutes. Choice 2, your domain. You serve a god and you pick one aspect of their power. War, life, death, fate. There are 12 of them, and each one gives you a different ability. Choice 3, your kit. This is your equipment. Are you in heavy armor with a greatsword, medium armor with a sword and shield? This also affects what weapons you generally will use. And finally, you pick 3 abilities to start with. One signature ability you can use at will. I'm going to recommend Your Allies Cannot Save You. You smash an enemy and shove everyone else around them backwards, creating space and disrupting formations. 1 3 Wrath ability. You can take the Gods Punish and Defend. You hit hard and you heal an ally. It's your kind of bread and butter combat turn. And 1 5 Wrath ability. Maybe Purifying Fire. It's excellent. You hit them, make them weak to fire damage, and then all your future attacks against them can deal fire damage instead of holy. That's kind of gets you around resistances. Now let's talk about the 3 orders, because this is where Censor really starts to take shape. We'll begin with Exorcist, which kind of is like the monster hunter. Okay, imagine you're hunting vampires, demons, invisible assassins, anything that hides or deceives. That's the Exorcist. Your signature trick, when you judge someone, you can teleport to them up to twice your presence in squares. You're suddenly in their face. At level 2, anything you judge cannot hide from you. Like, literally cannot use the hide maneuver. You also automatically know when lower level creatures are lying to you. At level 5, you see through disguises and illusions automatically. You're the truth seeker, the hunter, the you can run but you'll just die tired character. Your best abilities? Banish, where you literally remove creatures from reality, especially good against demons and devils, and Terror Manifest, which can instantly drop non-boss enemies to 0 when they're wounded. You're an executioner. Next up, we have the Oracle, or the Tactical Seer. Oracles see fragments of the future, and you use that to dominate combat. When you judge someone, you immediately blast them with damage, just a straight bonus hit. But here's the real power. At level 2, you get It Was Foretold. At the start of combat, before initiative even matters, you take 1 full action. You can judge an enemy, heal an ally, whatever you need. You're acting before the fight even starts. At level 5, Prophecy. Listen to this. Every time you complete an encounter, you roll some d10s and write down the numbers. Then during combat, when someone makes an important roll, you can say, no, use this number instead. You're literally rewriting fate. Your best abilities are all about making your allies awesome. With My Blessing, lets an ally attack with a double advantage and reduced cost. Fulfill Your Destiny removes all bad effects from an ally and gives them an extra turn, and they roll with double advantage the whole turn. You literally are a puppet master, the tactical genius. And finally, we have Paragon, the inspiring leader. Paragons lead from the front. You're Captain America. You're the paladin who makes everyone around them better just by being there. When you judge someone, you can pull them toward you vertically. You can drag flying enemies out of the sky. You can yank someone off a ledge. You can pull a distant enemy into melee range. And then at level 2, any enemy adjacent to you, your whole party counts as flanking them, even if they're not. Even if they're not right next to them. You're just so imposing that you create openings. At level 5, Stand Fast means you and nearby allies can spend stamina to shake off bad conditions at the start of your turn. Your party becomes incredibly hard to lock down. Your abilities? Blessing of the Faithful creates an aura that gives your allies action points every turn for the entire fight. Intercede lets you jump in front of attacks meant for allies. Apostate makes an enemy take extra damage from everyone for a whole fight. You're the frontline anchor, the protector, the leader who makes everyone else heroic. So, which should you pick? Exorcist if you want mobility and hunting specific enemies. Oracle if you want to be a tactical brain. And Paragon if you want to be the party's backbone. All right, let's do a quick run through of what I feel are the best domains, because these, as with all domains, give you powers at levels 1, 4, and 7. War, straightforward. Bless a weapon, it deals bonus damage. At higher levels, you grant your party a permanent victory that fuels everyone's abilities. Then you've got life. You're a healing specialist. Your heals are more powerful, and you generate extra resources when you heal allies. Next up, fate. Tactical support. You gain points you can spend to give allies advantage on rolls. At high level, you can redirect damage from allies to yourself. Death. You can speak with the dead, commune with the spirits, and prevent your allies from dying. When they drop dead, they just fall unconscious instead. Storm. Control the weather, gain flight, add lightning damage to everything you do. Thor. Also increases how far you can push and pull enemies. Love. Create telepathic bonds across infinite distance. At high levels, you can teleport your whole party to a bonded ally anywhere in the universe. Knowledge. At high level, you don't need books for research. You add your skill to all project roles, and you gain tons of extra skills. The Scholar Censor. My recommendations? If you're new, go War or Life. They're simple, powerful, and you can't mess them up. If you want to be tactical and clever, Fate or Knowledge. If you want utility and problem solving, Storm or Love, but know that there are more available, so if you're willing to do the research, check them all out. Let me walk you through what you get as you level up, because the power curve on this class is kind of wild. So we'll start with levels 1 through 3. You've got your signature ability, your 3 Wrath ability, your 5 Wrath ability, and then at level 3, your judgment starts frightening enemies automatically. They're scared of you now. You also get your first 7 Wrath ability. These are called edicts, and they're insane. You create a 2-square aura around yourself that lasts the entire fight. Edict of Purifying Pacifism. Pacifism. Words are hard. Edict of Purifying Pacifism. Enemies take damage whenever they attack anyone. Edict of Stillness. Enemies take damage if they leave your aura. Edict of Perfect Order. Enemies using their special powers take massive damage. These abilities redefine encounters. Deploy one and watch enemies panic. Then you go levels 4 through 6. Your presence goes up to 3. You start gaining more wrath from judged creatures. At level 5, you get 9 wrath abilities. Orison of Victory heals your whole party and removes conditions. Righteous Judgment Makes your whole party gain action points whenever they hit your judged target for the entire fight. At level 6, you get Implement of Wrath. During long rests, you bless a weapon, yours or an ally's. That weapon deals extra holy damage equal to the wielder's best stat. It frightens enemies, and it instantly kills minions, and the wielder can't be scared. This is a massive party-wide damage boost. Levels 7 through 10, well, now you're gaining 3 Wrath per turn instead of 2. All your stats go up. At level 8, you get your 11 Wrath ability. These are finishers. Excommunication makes an enemy damage their own allies. Hand of the Gods lets you use the judged enemy as the center of your spells. It's kind of wild. And then at level 10, you can open up portals to your god's realm. You can ask your deity 3 questions they must answer honestly. You can teleport anywhere. Worshippers of your god exist. You gain an epic resource called Virtue that never goes away, and you just accumulate divine power over the campaign. Level 10 censors feel mythic. All right, you've built your censor. Now let's talk about actually playing one, because there are some tricks here. Combat tactics. When combat starts, step 1, pick your judgment target. This should usually be the biggest threat. The enemy leader, the giant boss, the dragon if there is one, whoever is going to be around for a while and dealing the most damage, judge them. Use your order benefit, Oracle blasting them, Exorcist teleporting to them, Paragon dragging them close. Now that automatic damage starts ticking. Every time they act, they're taking 6, 8, 10 damage, depending on your level, and it adds up fast. Your turn? Use your abilities to deal damage and support your allies. We go back to the gods, punish and defend. Hit the enemy, heal your friend. Kind of classic. When you need to control them, spend a wrath. They try to run, stop them and smack them. They try to blast your healer, make them less accurate. Mid-fight, deploy your edict if you haven't already. That 7 or 9 Wrath Aura ability. Position yourself so enemies have to choose between staying near you and suffering or running away and taking damage. Don't hold on to your wrath. You're generating 4+ per round. Spend it. Be aggressive. Now, there are some common mistakes. Mistake 1, forgetting to gain your 2 wrath at the start of your turn. Now, if you're, for example, playing in the codex, it's doing it automatically, but if you're playing at the table, you need to set yourself a reminder somehow. A sticky note or something. Don't miss this. Mistake 2, judging targets that are going to die quickly. Your judgment works best on enemies that stick around. If someone's almost dead, let your allies finish them. Keep your judgment on the boss. Mistake 3, not using your order benefit. That free teleport, damage, or pull when you first judge someone, use it every single turn you judge someone. It's free. Mistake 4, hoarding recoveries. You have 12. Use them to heal your allies, especially at higher levels when your heals get way better. All right, resource management. Make sure you're tracking your wrath carefully. You could use tokens or a die. Every turn, make sure you're updating it. Your recoveries are on your sheet. Cross them off when you spend them. You get them all back after that long rest. Outside combat, remember, you can still use your wrath abilities once each without spending wrath. So after a fight, heal your injured allies. Help with skill checks using your domain powers. Just remember, you can only do each ability once until you rest or win another fight. Positioning. Most censors fight in melee or close to it. Your judgment has a 10 square range, but your best attacks are melee. Get between enemies and your vulnerable abilities. Get between your enemies and your vulnerable allies. You're tough, you can take hits, and when you take hits from judged creatures, you gain wrath. Use your forced movement. See a cliff? Push someone off it. Enemy flying? Pull them to you. Remember, if you're a Paragon, pull can move people up and down, so get creative with it. Your edicts are 2 square auras, that's everything adjacent to you, positioned centrally so multiple enemies are in the aura, or position aggressively so enemies have to push past you. The beauty of the Censor is that you're always doing something useful, marking enemies, dealing automatic damage, healing allies, controlling the battlefield. You're never just sitting there. Let me give you 3 builds that just work depending on what your party needs. Build 1, the Immortal Paragon. Your order is going to be Paragon, your domain is going to be life, and your kit is going to be mountain, which includes that heavy armor. This is your unkillable tank. You're in the heaviest armor, you pull enemies towards you, you heal constantly, you let allies shake off conditions. Your job is simple. Stand in front, make enemies focus you, and keep your party alive. Best for parties that need a frontline anchor. Build 2, the Prophetic Oracle. So we're going to start with Oracle as your order. We're going to add the Fate domain, and we're going to use the Shining Armor kit. This is the tactical mastermind. You act before combat starts. You manipulate dice rolls, you make your allies amazing. You're less about raw damage and more about ensuring your party succeeds. Best for parties that are already damage heavy but need coordination. Finally, we have Build 3, the Demon Hunter. So we're going to start with your order as Exorcist. Your domain is going to be Death, and your kit is Panther with the mobile medium armor. This is your aggressive executioner. Teleport into melee, execute priority targets, see through deception, hunt monsters. You're fast. You hit hard. You finish wounded enemies. Best for parties that need someone to take out key targets quickly. All 3 work. All 3 are fun. Pick based on what your party needs and what sounds cool to you. But remember, you don't have to go by what I just said. If you are more interested in researching and figuring out what you want, do that. There are a lot of choices and a lot of builds you can create. So that's the Censor. Let me sum it up. You're a tanky divine enforcer who marks enemies for judgment, deals automatic damage to them throughout the fight, heals allies when needed, and controls the battlefield through forced movement and fear effects. You're versatile, you're tough, and you scale incredibly well. By level 10, you feel like a mythic avatar of divine justice. The trick to playing one well: pick the right target for judgment. Don't hoard your wrath, use your order benefits, position aggressively, and most importantly, embrace the theme. When you judge someone, make it dramatic. By the power of whatever your god's name is, you are judged. Make it feel weighty. You're not just dealing damage, you're passing divine sentence. If you found this helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to Roll for Perception. We're going to be covering, as I said earlier, every Draw Steel class, tactical combat guides, tons of TTRPG content. We've got more videos coming every week, and you won't want to miss them. Now, do you have a Censor build idea that you've already put together? If so, drop it into the comments. I'd love to see what other people are creating. Tell me which order you'd play, and tell me if there's a class that you want covered next. I read all the comments and respond to most of them. My name is Terry Chikimiak. I want to thank you again for watching. Now, go forth and censor the unworthy.